Well, hello, everybody. Here we are back again. I'm Tim from Las Vegas.
I'm Sam from the Pacific Northwest, Washington State.
Yes, and here we are with another episode of us two just chatting, talking about some things and getting together. And
Right.
Sam is from the Pacific Northwest. However, you're in a new house, right, Sam?
I am. Yes. We are. We just moved into a split level home, and we're going to be selling our old house, but that's not going to be until the spring. So we're going to be, getting that ready, staging it, and fixing it up here and there, sprucing it up here and there, and for going on the market in probably February or March. But yeah, we're in the new home, and I have my new studio set up. That's the organized side of it. The other half is still in some boxes, but we're trying to be pretty. I don't know. We're trying to be pretty proactive about getting all the boxes out, so we're doing a pretty good job. We had our first night where we stoked up the fireplace upstairs last night. So
Nice.
that was pretty neat. That was pretty neat.
Nice. So how's the housing market up there? Is it pretty good? Because, I mean, first of all, it's kind of unusual to like sit on a house that long, right? Usually people sell it right away before they buy to get the money, all that kind of stuff. But also, Are you pretty confident it'll go right away too once you get it up in the market?
We think so. And our real estate agent is pretty confident about it too. There's a couple of things. We didn't want to just stress ourselves out trying to, sell the house and buy another house at the same time. We wanted to try to capitalize on when people normally buy houses. So there might be people watching going, "You are an idiot," and that's probably okay. That's probably true. But we're just listening to other people and taking their advice. And I think if we stage it well and we fix a couple of things on the outside, improve the curb appeal a little bit, I think it'll be better. I think we'll be all right.
I actually happened to be, I wasn't in the Pacific Northwest per se, where you are, but I was in Northern California this past weekend up near Sacramento. First time I've been up there. And and it was, what was kind of interesting to me, I just didn't know because I had never been there before, is my friend lives in what they call, I guess, the valley or something. And I didn't realize, so towards the ocean, there's like mountains, right? And then towards the west, there's mountains, but it is flat, like in the area where she lives. And flying in, landing, just seeing all the fields, because they have a lot of produce, like crops and stuff.
Wine.
Rice fields and all this kind of stuff. But it just never occurred to me that California was just had a just flat area like that.
Yeah. I used to live in Martinez, California, which is East Bay area, San Francisco. So not too far away from Sacramento. Did you go to the Jelly Belly factory?
No, we
got
didn't.
a Jelly Belly factory up by Sacramento, and that's a pretty cool place to go.
Oh, okay. No.
If you like jelly beans, at least.
Yeah. Where we did go, though, which was kind of interesting, is we went for a hike up to this, I don't know, one of the little foothills, I guess you call it. But then we took a side diversion to Coloma, which was where the gold rush started, and Sutter's Mill was there. And it was interesting because I showed my friend, there's games named after him, right? So, especially Euro games, right? We're so used to, with the Euro games, whether it's France or Germany, all the towns with the names and all that kind of stuff. And we kind of know that, right? But, I guess, I don't know, just because if you don't know certain things, you're just not aware. Like that game Coloma, I just didn't know about it. And then Sutter's Mill, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And she was surprised too. She's like, wow, they make games about everything, don't they? And I'm like, yes, they do.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. You got us.
And we found a board game cafe up there. Brand new one, opened up in April, and it was kind of nice. Really lovely people, and very beautiful place. So I wish them a lot of success. Hope they do well.
That's cool.
Been playing any games? I know you've been busy moving, so you had a chance to play any games recently?
Well, the last time that we actually had to, we came back, we went to We went to North Carolina for Thanksgiving, visited my second oldest son, David, his wife, Bruna, and their new baby, our new grandbaby, Violet.
Uh-huh.
And while we were there, I took 8 games down there with me, and I bought 3 more at a store that I found in his town. So we had 11 games over the course of Thanksgiving week, and we played all but one of them. And that was Mandalorian Adventures. I didn't get that to the table, but that's one that I bought. I've been talking about some of them so much that I don't want to talk about them anymore because I don't want to feel like a shill. But it's just one of those things where, of course, I took games down there that I thought that that I knew that I enjoyed, that I thought they would enjoy. Right. And so, it's just a bunch of games that we already enjoy. So, I guess one that I think one of the new ones that I bought was called Wrath of Fire Mountain. Okay. This is a neat little game from Gamewright that is done by Phil Walker Harding and Eric Lang. And it is a neat little to start off, Forbidden Island-esque as far as the weight, the scope, and the complexity of the game. That's kind of, although I think Forbidden Island is a little bit easier than Wrath of Fire Mountain. And on top of that, Forbidden Island and the Forbidden whatever series, those are all cooperative games, and this one is not cooperative. It's definitely competitive. But think that comes in a little tin box, just like all of those other Forbidden Desert, Forbidden Island, Forbidden Jungle games come in. And there's a lot of shifting of the tiles. It's a modular board setup where it has, I think, oh goodness, I want to say 9. No, that's not right. It's a 4x4 grid, so 16. 16 tiles make up the board, and a couple of those tiles are like spawn points, kind of, where you can put your people out, and then you can move your people around the board, and it's an area control game. But you can put people in the volcano area, which is the Fire Mountain. You can put people in the volcano area, and whoever has the most people in that volcano area gets to shift the volcano around. And whenever you shift the volcano around, you're going to be moving those other tiles around. So the different tiles are going to be making up different areas that you can control. There's like wheat fields, there's a grasslands, and then there are some water areas that you can control. And as you're moving that Fire Mountain around, you're going to be breaking up or joining together these other areas, making them larger or whatnot. And there's also little dinosaur minis. And dinosaurs, you can actually recruit them into your tribe, and they can actually help you. And all of the different dinosaurs have different special abilities that'll fire off whenever you want them to during the course of your round. And it's actually a really kind of neat, fun, light area control game that we only played it a couple of times, but we enjoyed both times. And I want to play it more before we actually give it a full review. But this was pretty fun. It's got nice. neat little, not great artwork, but it's kind of like that, I don't know, Cartoon Network, blocky, cartoony caveman look. And it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. I liked it, and I enjoyed the game. And, of course, those designers are a couple of really heavy hitters. And Gamewright's always putting out pretty good stuff as well. So there's a lot of good going for the game. I just need to play it more to see how it feels after the initial success of it, so to speak.
Right. Oh, sounds fantastic. And everybody enjoyed it too?
Yeah. Everybody liked it. There's a little bit of that, that take that feel that a lot of area control games can kind of inherently have, because some of the special abilities that the dinosaurs have allow you to, get rid of other people's cavemen. And so diminish their combat ability, I guess you could say, in that area for the area control. So there's stuff like that. When you shift the mountain and you break somebody's area up, and they were going to score, because you basically score 1 point for each tile in the area that you're controlling. So if somebody has a big 4-point monster area and you break that up into 2 points, now they're only getting 2 points instead of 4.
Oh.
And it is a race to, the first person to score, X number of points in a 3-player game or a 4-player game or a 2-player game, and all the numbers are different. Will end of the game. Whoever gets to that point first will trigger the end of the game, and whoever has the most at the end of that round is the winner. Something to that effect. But it's an interesting thing. You only use 3, and I think there are 8 or 9 different dinosaurs that all have different abilities in them, and you only use 3 or 4 of them at a time. So it's a really neat game, and I'm enjoying it. I just want to play it some more to see how it settles.
Right. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I just got a chance to play again, just old, games that I've already played before that have been around a while. However, I got a chance, the game of Duel, of course, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I bought a game for my friend because I wanted her, to have a couple games there at her place, and also one that I could teach relatively easy. And it was a Duel Mini, I think it's called. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, so I was really intrigued by it. It's only maybe a box is like maybe that big. And it comes with the 4 boards and the tiles, but the boards have like little pips on them, and the tiles have little indents. So the tiles kind of sit on the pips on your board, right? So they don't slide around and stuff. And how you score in a Duel, it's got the little black cube that you just move up in the little boxes on the board. But this one had a 0 through 9 little slider thing, and then a 10, 20, 30, 40 other slider thing. So the score is a little bit more accurate. You don't have to worry about that little cube moving all over. And a nice little bag. And I was like, wow, they did a really good job with this. And it was only, I think, $19.99, like $20.
Wow.
Where the regular game, I believe, is like $49.99, maybe.
Yeah. I'm wondering, is this like is it still a full player count? Like up to 4 players?
Yeah. 4 players. They have 4 of their what it is, the boards are like a thin cardboard. However, and it's the same 2-sided, right? Because you got the sides with the colors already pre-printed on the other side where it's just not. But there's a plastic sort of cover, I want to say, where you take the board, where you can flip the board on one side or the other, and on the plastic cover, that's where they have like the board with the pips, where you stick the tiles in and the score slider things. And I was like, wow, this is really nice. I think they just did a very good job with that, and it's great for a game like that. If you're out at a park or a picnic, and it's really good. I was very impressed with what they did with that, right? Instead of just taking a game and making it smaller or whatever. I was like, wow, they actually put some thought in this. The one thing, again, there's always something we can kind of pick apart or say, right? Was the islands or whatever you call them, the little discs were kind of just really chintzy, cheap kind of cardboard. It just would have been nicer if they would have made them just a little bit thicker, a little bit like that. But again, considering they had the plastic overlays and all that kind of stuff, and the tiles are the same kind of quality, they probably had to skimp somewhere, right?
Duel's a good game. I really kind of prefer Stained Glass of Sintra over the base game, but it's still a great system.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 of them, right?
Yeah. Right. Azul Duel is what's coming up.
Another Duel game?
Yes, Azul Duel.
Azul Duel. I don't know, Sam. Do you what is your thoughts on those Duel games, right? Because if it's, for example, like I guess Splendor Duel, right? I mean, that's the first one that comes to mind. When I first heard that, I was like, that's ridiculous. There's no need, because Splendor plays perfect at 2, right? You modify how many chips you put out and all that kind of stuff. I was like, that's just stupid. But then I played it and I was like, wow, this is good. You know what I mean? They did a good job. What are your thoughts on a lot of these dual games coming out now?
Well, I tell you what, if I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I don't understand why the need is there. If the game that you designed originally supports 2 players, then why come up with another 2-player version of the game, because you already did. But I do understand that from a certain point of view, to steal the wise words of Obi-Wan Kenobi, if most of the time games are designed for not 2 players, they're designed for 3, probably 4. They're probably designed for 4 players. I think that was probably the window that you're looking at. Most games are probably designed for 4 players, and whenever you start, deviating from that, you have to make some kind of allowance in that game system, in that system that you designed, in order to make up for the lack of people around the table.
Right.
And so a 2-player game of a game that was designed for 4 players just isn't going to have the same oomph to it, if that makes any sense.
No, I would agree. Absolutely.
So I think there's some validity to that, especially if you have a game that's really popular. And a lot of people have said, the 2-player games are okay. The 2-player version is okay, or the 2-player variant is okay, but it really needs some extra work. And a designer will take that as almost like a hold my beer moment. Okay, well, I'll do that. That kind of stuff. So I think there's some validity to it. I don't think every game needs to do it, and I don't think every game is doing it. But I do get what you're saying. Sometimes it's like, this 2-player version, this 2-player variant of this game works just fine. If you look at it from the consumer side of things, you don't want to buy a game that's, if you're only ever going to play it with 2 players, you don't want to buy a game that supports 4 or 5, because you're never going to use that.
Well, yes, and no. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. However, there is that counter argument with when you start throwing in the discussion of sweet spot, right? Because there are clearly games that were made or intended for 4 players. However, some of them you could argue the sweet spot is 2, right?
Sure.
That it's like in 3 or 4 may be too many people. And one that immediately comes to mind for me is like Unconscious Mind, right? It's a great game, but 2 people is fantastic at. But you know what I mean? So there's that thrown in there too, that variable.
It goes both ways. Games are designed for 2, and they're like, well, what if we have 4? Okay, well, we'll split up the forces, and you do half, and I'll do the other half, and now we can both play 4. That kind of stuff. A lot of conflict games do that, and so it definitely goes both ways. But do I think that all games should have their own 2-player version? Absolutely not. I don't think it's any way necessary. But if the populace is calling for it, and it's going to sell, why not?
That's true.
That's just business at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of I guess the 2-player game, sort of what we're talking about, one of the other ones that I bought my friend while I was there, and I'm sure you played this game, that I think is a really great 2-player game that I used to teach people all the time. People is Jaipur. Yeah, and to me, that's just a really sort of easy to teach, easy to get into, easy to understand. It's just set collection, basically, right? You can only do one of 2 things, either buy goods or sell goods. And, she really enjoyed it. Small, compact, one you can keep in your glove compartment or in a backpack. So, that was another game I got to play. And I think that's a really, really good, real light 2-player game.
Yes.
Speaking of that,
absolutely. Did you get the Space Cowboys version?
What's the difference?
With artwork? That's the only difference.
Well, the original one I like, because remember they had that little Easter egg, I guess you can call it, with the dead panda.
I don't know what other version there is out there. I don't remember who did it originally. Let me pull it up
because
here.
I know there's the older version, which, like I said, with the dead panda on the on one of the camels, and then they got the newer one
Yeah.
with the newer artwork. And I'm not a big fan of the newer artwork. I like the older one better.
Really?
Yeah, because they did the artwork.
Yeah, I know. And it's Vincent Dutrait's artwork, and it looks immensely better than the old version.
You think so?
Oh, I absolutely think so. Yeah, I was like, yeah, okay, this is all right, but yeah, Vincent Dutrait's artwork is amazing. And he's my favorite. He's my favorite artist. And I didn't own Jaipur until I saw that it had Vincent Dutrait's artwork on it. Space Cowboys, when they reprinted it, got Vincent to do the artwork for it, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, to me, it's just a little bit more muted. I mean, the original version, like the colors are just more vibrant and clear. This one seemed a little bit more muted to me. So,
you're wrong, sir.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a really good game.
No, it is. Absolutely is. That's a great pick. Good gift as well. Another game that I've been playing recently, well, just a couple nights ago, if we want to talk about older games, a couple nights ago, Jess and I did our our time-honored Tuesdays live stream, which is where we play an older game in our collection. And we played New York 1901. Man, I got to stop talking about Vincent Dutrait. But again, this is another game that has his artwork in it. And it's by Chinye LaSalle, I think is the designer's name. I probably murdered his name, but Blue Orange put it out. And basically, it's just a tile laying game where you are placing out different polynomial shapes out onto the New York grid, I guess you could say, of streets. And there's a couple of different ways. There are 5 different New York street cards that are going to be, only 3 of them are going to be used throughout the course of each game. And that's going to basically give bonus points to whomever has the most buildings on those streets, those 3 streets at the end of the game. Then there's also a kind of like a goal objective card. There's 5 of those, and you only use 1 per game. That'll give you a different goal objective to score extra points at the end of the game. But generally, each of the tiles are buildings or skyscrapers that you're putting out into the New York skyline, and they each score you different number of points. I think it goes from 2, 3, 5, 6, and 8. I think are the different point totals that each of the buildings give you. And it has this cool mechanism where you can demolish and rebuild as well, where you can take some of the buildings that you've already purchased and demolish them from the board, and then in that same place a bigger building down that'll score you more points. You don't lose the points of the buildings that you demolish. You just score more points for basically rebuilding in that same area. And it's neat. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's very, very light. But it's very beautiful. It has a great table presence, even though 3D buildings would really make it pop. But having said that, you know, a lot of people say that Foundations of Rome is a really great game, and it does, in my opinion, does work very well in introductory type situations. Although I have had it do not as well in a couple of instances, but I agree with that. But New York 1901 almost feels like a precursor to Foundations of Rome. Oh, really? I think Foundations of Rome is a lot more streamlined and it flows a lot more easily. But New York 1901 gives you that same vibe, just on a lesser degree. But it's a really great game. I don't even know how available it is right now, because it is almost a 9-year-old game at this point, almost 10. But it's got great artwork. It's a great design, and we really enjoyed it. We did a little 2-player game of it. It goes all the way up to 4 players, but 2-player works just fine. You take out For the 2-player game, you just take out the pink districts cards, and those are not used in the game, and then everything else plays the same. So it's a really simple variant. It's not difficult at all. But that's what we did. It was a really cool one.
Yeah, yeah. I remember playing New York 1901, and I remember enjoying it when I did play it. But again, right, it's like just getting it back to the table. I'd have to.
Yeah.
I never got it back to the table, so I definitely need to. But yeah, fantastic. That's really good. I'm gonna see you pretty soon, right? In about 3 weeks, you're going on the cruise, right?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic! Are you going by yourself? Are you going with anybody?
Nope. Whole family's coming with. This is one of our big trips. This is we try to do a couple of family vacations a year, and this is the main one. We do another one during the summer or fall. Usually that one's a camping trip of some sort. So yeah, we're bringing the whole family. Me and my wife. How many is that going to be total? Huh?
How many is that going to be total? 5? Wow.
5 altogether. Yep. And we are super looking forward to it. The kids are going to miss an entire week of school, and they are pumped about that.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a cruise, right, Sam? It could be anything. A week of school. They can just stay home this week of school and be fantastic.
That's right.
Oh, that's going to be good. We'll definitely have to get down and get together and play some games.
Yes, absolutely. I can't promise that it'll be a Teotihuacan, but that's the last time I played Teotihuacan, brother. That was on the cruise with you and another person. I don't know who the other person was, but it was you and somebody else. And yeah, that's the last time I played that game.
Yeah, you know who I think it was. I think it was with Brian and his wife. It might have been.
Was it?
Might have been.
Brian. Oh, you know what? That is correct. Now it's coming back. Absolutely. I was sitting across from you. Brian was sitting next to me, and Carly was across from Brian.
Well, it's going to be good. It's going to be great to see you hang out. Yeah. And are you guys getting a couple of cabins or just one big one? Or
2. Yeah, two side by sides.
Do you have excursions planned and all that already too?
We have got a couple, but we took it easy on excursions this time because that one port was kind of up in the air of whether or not we were going to do it. And we've got a couple of other people that are friends of ours from the flip side that are going to be there. And we're just going to go do something with them wherever that other port turns out to be. We'll just, kind of freelance it, but we're looking forward to it. It's Jesse's oldest daughter, Daphne, is going to be turning 18 during the cruise. So we're planning something a little special, not huge special, just a little special for that. But everything else is just, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a good break after all the hustle and bustle of moving and then the holidays, and then just kind of rest for a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. That'll be fantastic. And unfortunately, folks, the cruise is sold out this year. Good for the Dice Tower, right? It's good that
absolutely good.
The cabins get all that, just to get to show you how popular the cruise is becoming and how many people enjoy it. So that doesn't mean you can't participate in any other Dice Tower events, right? Because coming up in March is Dice Tower West, then you got Dice Tower East. So there's other things you have a chance. But if you want to go on a cruise with the Dice Tower, don't wait. Right. So when they come up for next year, for 2026, get in early because it's getting more and more popular and spaces go quick. And as Sam has been saying, it is a great time, a great time to just rest, relax.
I will say this. A lot of people have the stigma that cruises are super expensive. I will say they are not cheap. However, if you suss out all of the stuff that you're paying for and compare it to what you would normally be paying for those same things on a regular vacation somewhere else, they are very comparable to a regular vacation no matter where you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, that's a good point, Sam. And the thing that you have to keep in mind when you're trying to suss things out is it's not like on a regular vacation, right? You may have like you may have like a bagel and a coffee for breakfast, and then maybe a little
Right.
big lunch and a big dinner, right? So,
Yep.
you could say, okay, I'm only spending $10 for breakfast or whatever, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But on the cruise for your meals, you got to remember each meal, all three are huge, right? So it's like they're big meals. Like you're having whatever you want for breakfast, whatever you want for lunch, whatever you want for dinner. So
exactly.
yeah, when you put all of the entertainment, the shows are free. You can do, the little game shows, the things they have. It is, right? It's regular to a regular vacation.
There are some things on the cruise that you have to pay extra for, but they are clearly delineated, and it's not like, because I've talked to some people that are like, well, I don't want to accidentally go do something that I have to pay a whole bunch of money for. That's not how it is.
Right.
Everything is upfront about how much it costs,
Yep.
or if it's included with your room. So it's one of the best ways that I think of, because I used to be one of those people. I used to be one of those people that was like, it's just too expensive. There's no way. And then you go stay in a hotel for a week, and all of the meals that you have to pay for on top of that hotel room, and it's like, okay, I just paid basically the same amount of money.
Yep.
So it's not cheap. Please don't. Well, Daddy Warbucks says it's not expensive. No, I'm not saying that. Right. It's definitely not cheap, but the difference that you're paying. That's my main point. The difference that you're paying is not formidable at all.
Correct. I get your point perfectly, Sam. That people just have to realize, if you're going on vacation anyway, that if you compare the costs of a cruise or just a regular vacation, they're going to be about the same. So yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, you got to pay for your airfare to get down there.
But you're going to have to pay for an airfare if you go on a vacation anyway.
Exactly, unless you're taking a road trip, and so it's still part of the umbrella expenses that are part of that trip. So I just wanted to mention that. I don't know who needed to hear that or wanted to hear that, but it's one of the things that I mention whenever we talk about cruise, because we always whenever I talk to people, I'm going on a cruise, they get that look on their face like, whoa, hey, big spender, that kind of stuff, and I'm like, it really isn't.
It
really isn't. It's just like going on a regular vacation. It's just that you're on a boat. You're not on the land.
Right. That's sort of a good transition sort of into the topic that we're going to talk about this week, folks. Sort of being a big spender or overspending and maybe wasting money or whatever. But so, Sam, here's something that, a lot of my friends and I have been talking about recently. And what that is when you do Kickstarters or when people are, publishers are making new games and stuff, a lot of the stuff, I don't know if it's necessarily unnecessary or things they're doing to get more money from us. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So, and then also the umbrella I want to put over this whole conversation is it our fault that we're just suckers, for lack of a better term, and we're just going to pay for the stuff anyway, right? Or are publishers taking advantage of us, right? So it's one of those kind of, whatever kind of discussions.
Sure.
But here's the examples I want to give. Just yesterday, the example I'll give is War of the Ring, the 20th anniversary edition from Ares, the big deluxe thing and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm very fortunate because I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me raise the camera a little bit. But way up top there, as you can see, I'm fortunate. I've got the big box, the wooden thing of Lord of the Rings. Over there, I've also got the 10th anniversary edition, and now they're coming out with a 20th anniversary edition. And of course, each time they made it, right, that big box thing, they're like, oh, we're never doing it again. They didn't, but they made the 10th anniversary. 10th anniversary came out, we're never doing it again. But now the 20th anniversary, right? And guess what? I bought it. I paid for it again, right? And yes, I know. And then also, the same topic, the kind of other things that sort of annoy me is like with the Teotihuacan, like, you just brought that up. I bought the big deluxe Kickstarter and I got everything, like neoprene mats. But when I get the neoprene mat, it's the same size as the regular board. So I'm like, why did I pay for the neoprene mat? and I got the neoprene player boards. And I'm like, well, wait a second. The player boards that come with the game are the double layered player boards, which are nicer than a neoprene matte player board. But yet you made me spend, I'm not going to say you made me, the company made me. I did it myself. I spent the money. So anyway, that's what I'd like to talk about, Sam. What are your thoughts on things like that? Is it more our fault? Is it the publishers taking advantage of it because they know we're idiots and will spend the money? Like, where are you in all this?
Well, I wouldn't say that we're idiots. That seems a little harsh. I get what you're saying. I know you're not being harsh. I get it. But I don't. Here's the thing. I've always told people, you got to vote with your wallet. If you think that something is not really out of sorts, but if you think something is over the line or over the top or whatever you want to say it, don't buy it. And if enough people do that, the Kickstarter companies will at some point say, okay, they didn't bite on that. We're not going to do that anymore. But if people keep buying it, then I don't know that I can fault a company for offering something if they know that somebody is going to buy it. Now, where we can start faulting the company is if they don't follow through. That's where the company fault starts coming into it. If you're going to offer something, you got to make sure that it gets to your end customer. But I don't think the whole Kickstarter add-on. Well, let me go a step. Let me go a step maybe back a little bit. I'm not even really a big fan of stretch goals.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even a fan of stretch goals. I don't think that. I think that is more egregious, and sometimes that can be more egregious than add-ons. I don't necessarily worry so much about add-ons because that's the consumer's choice. And if a company wants to offer something to give you the chance to spruce up your game more than somebody else's game might be, I think there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's completely in the consumer's lap. If the company offers it, as long as they're able to provide it and do their end of the bargain, I think there's nothing wrong with that at all. My thing that I wish didn't exist are stretch goals, because stretch goals can be such a source of unnecessary contention. And I don't know that stretch goal. I mean, of course, stretch goals provide that hype train, I guess you could say, that sense of what's coming next. I want to make sure that we get that next thing, but I don't know that might do more damage than good in the long run. It might help your campaign succeed at a greater amount, but what is the psyche that you're promoting behind it?
Right.
Also, I would much rather a company just say, here, this is what we're offering you.
Right.
Now, if you want this, even if you want to include all of the stuff that you would have put in stretch goals, if you want this, back it at this amount. And then all of your add-ons. These are all of the add-ons that you can add to your pledge that you're going to get all this with. I would much rather do that.
When it comes to, like, say, for example, like the neoprene mat, for instance, right? Is it more on us for not doing our full due diligence and making sure that we know exactly what we're purchasing? Because again, we just get caught up in the hype, right? A game, for example, like Teotihuacan that I love, like they could have just whatever they're selling, I'm buying, right? I'm just just buying blind. Like, oh, here's my money because I love the game.
Yeah.
Or because again, I'm not saying they are being deceptive, but again, as a consumer, sometimes I feel a little bit like, wow, like you're not really giving me anything more than I need. It's like the board that it comes with is perfectly fine, but you sort of suckered me into, and again, I'm not disparaging the company, okay? I'm not saying they did that.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But, I feel like they did, and I didn't get. I bought something I don't need.
Sure.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. I just got my copy of Thunder Road Vendetta Chrome with the Carnival of Chaos expansion, the new part, and everything is in that Maximum Chrome box, and the plastic inserts that come. Come to find out, I didn't realize this, but come to find out, the plastic inserts hold everything, including the new Carnival of Chaos expansion. I didn't know that. So what I did I added on the folded space box insert so that I could hold everything in the box. Well, turns out you don't actually need that. Well,
perfect example right there.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I like it better because of the printing and the thematic printing that's on the folded space insert rather than just the black plastic. So because you can take some of those things out that are part of that insert and set them out on the board, and it heightens the thematic enthrall of the game. And so I'm not remorseful about buying it, but at the same time, I did have that part where, I bought something I didn't actually need. But here's the thing: we don't need board games. It's not necessary for life, right? So I don't want to go down that route either. Everything that we're talking about, and I understand the context that you're in. This is all luxury items. This is all luxury stuff. So I'm like, oh well, I bought a board game because I wanted it, and I bought an insert that I didn't actually need, but I'm actually still kind of glad that I did because it makes the game look a little bit better.
Right.
When I'm playing it.
Right. And that's a perfect point right there, Sam, because to me, all I'm sort of asking for would be a sort of disclaimer from the company.
Sure. Yeah.
For example, just in that thing you said with Thunder Road Vendetta or whatever it was, for them to say, hey, listen, the folded space insert and the insert you're getting from us do the exact same thing. There's no need for you to buy this folded space insert. You're not getting anything additional. But they could maybe add a caveat like what you said. Well, what it does give you a little bit more thematic experience, lets you do this, and this. However, you know what I mean? And that's kind of all I'm saying. For example, I would have loved for them to say, hey, this neoprene mat is the exact same size as the regular game board. It's not bigger, which I thought it was going to be. I thought I'm paying for something more than, just to let me know a little bit more. So again, that's, I guess it falls on us, that responsibility, right? We just do more due diligence,
It does actually. I would imagine, I don't know, I didn't look at the campaign, but I would imagine that they gave you the dimensions of that playmat.
Probably.
And you at that point, you will have to look at the dimensions of that playmat, look at the dimensions of the board, and say, oh, these are the same. I think a company, if they give you the dimensions of the products, then I think it's okay for them to leave it in your hands to do the research. I don't think that they should have to spell everything out. Because from a marketing perspective, I would imagine you don't want to necessarily tell people, hey, we've got this shiny new thing. You don't need it. But hey, we've got this shiny new thing. That doesn't make marketing sense. If you're going to offer a product, then you're going to offer it. You're going to want to make it look as good as it possibly can. Now, that doesn't mean that you lie to people and say that, oh, you're going to need this. It's so much better than the blah, blah, blah. That would be going too far from a marketing perspective. But if they say, here's a neoprene playmat, so if you want a neoprene playmat, here are the dimensions of it. It can replace the cardboard stock board that comes in the game. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Right. I mean, I get what you're saying. However, I guess it's a matter of understand. I mean, I don't know. This is kind of a weird topic, right? But what I mean is, when say for instance a company offers upgraded resin mini playing pieces as opposed to say the cardboard it comes with, right? To me, that's clear that you don't need the upgraded resin pieces. They do the same thing, but you exactly know what you're paying for. It's very clear you're spending extra to get these pieces because, there's a clear differentiation, a clear difference between just the cardboard pieces or the resin little mini pieces. Yeah. However, again, to me, it's just like, wait a second. Oh, a neoprene mat. I guess I'm building into my expectations, right, that the company did it, so it's not their fault. But that's all I'm saying. It just seems a little different, I don't know. It's
no, I get you. I get what you're saying, and I think that's a common thing from the consumer's mindset. The consumer's mindset is that if you offer me something that is different than what the game comes with, then it's categorically, quote unquote, better. It might not be from a functionality aspect, though. It might be exactly the same. It's just a different material. And a lot of people think neoprene mats are better than cardboard mats sometimes because now I've also heard the other side of it where people prefer the cardboard boards because they are the colors are more crisp. There's less bleeding that goes into the actual graphics and all of that other kind of stuff. But I think technology has gotten to the point now where there's very little difference between a cardboard mat, if I can say that, and a neoprene mat as far as graphics are concerned. But from my aspect, I think that I like neoprene mats much better than cardboard boards. I do. Generally speaking, I think that there are many games out there where it's superfluous. It doesn't change the experience at all. But if there are different things, like if you have to pick things up off the board often, or if you're rolling dice, or if you're doing some other activity that comes with playing the game, where a neoprene mat will make it easier to do that. Picking up a card off of a cardboard mat is much more difficult than picking it up from a neoprene mat because the neoprene mat will give underneath that card. So in my opinion, that would be an upgrade. Even if it is the same size, it would be an upgrade because it makes the experience of the game easier or more enjoyable. But I think that's a really kind of a microcosmic look, though. I don't think everybody should feel that way. I don't think, but I also don't think all companies should have to spell out to the nth degree whether or not they think it's going to be a better thing or not a better thing. I think if you're just offering it to them, it's up to the consumer at that point to make that decision. Now, one thing that I do want to say is that when I was working for these different companies, I really tried my absolute best to be the voice of the consumer in many of the meetings that we had, because I would listen to what the marketing person was saying. I would listen to what the development people were saying. I would listen to what the other person was saying, and I would say, well, this is what I think the consumer is going to think, because frankly, I'm talking to them every single day, and this is what they're saying. And so they're not going to like that. They're really going to like that because it's going to be an upgrade to the game, or they're going to hate that. Please don't do that, because I'm going to face all the bad stuff after you make that public, that kind of stuff. Right. And so that's how some of those meetings went. And then beyond that, I just had to go with whatever they chose to do. So I really do understand what you're talking about as far as buying something that feels like it should have been an upgrade, but in reality, it didn't make it that far down the road. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just doesn't feel as big of an upgrade as you initially thought. And part of that, I would say the lion's share of that is on us, the consumers, because we do have the power of the wallet. If fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You know what
Correct.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that ideology definitely holds true here.
At the end of the day, no, I agree. At the end of the day, to take an introspective look, right?
Sure.
At myself, I agree 100%. I really, this is more of a conversation being mad at myself, right? Because I agree with what you said. It's not. I don't think it's a responsibility of the publisher or the company to have to say that, right? Even though, like I said, it would be nice for them to put a disclaimer out and say, "Hey, you don't need this," blah blah blah. But I agree with you. I don't think it's their responsibility. At the end of the day, it's just a matter of me sort of being upset or mad with myself that I didn't do enough due diligence, that I wasted money on something I really didn't need, that I'm not happy with. It is. At the end of the day, it does fall on me. It is my fault, my responsibility. Because, again, you can't blame the publisher or the company for putting products up for sale. That's their business, to make money, sell stuff. So if we spend our money and buy it, like me, I don't need, like you even said it, right? These are all luxuries. These are a first world problem, first world issues.
Yeah.
I don't need the 20th anniversary of Lord of the Ring when I've got the 10th anniversary sitting over there and I've got the big box thing sitting up top. That's all on me.
Right? You need it, Tim. You know you do. You're not going to be happy unless you have all three of them suckers sitting up on top of your shelf.
You're right. I guess I do need it because you're right. I would not be happy unless I had them all. That is, but again, it's just I just like discussing these things, right? Because it is our passion, it is our hobby. It is a big part of our life, right? This board games and stuff. So
absolutely,
it's just interesting having these types of conversations. But again, folks, tell us what you think, right? So put in the comments your thoughts on things like this. And again, about anything we talked on the show today, please let us know. Again, and also how you're liking the show and how you're enjoying the show. But as always, Sam, it's great getting together with you. Great, having these conversations, talking about things. Sir. And I really, really, really look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks and getting together and playing some games.
Me too. Me too.
All right, folks. Well, we will be back again soon with another episode. We're still looking for an official name, but as of now, it's the Western Contingent, right, Sam? So far. So good. Yes, so far so good. But until next time, I'm Tim from Vegas, and we'll see you soon.
I'm Sam from Washington State. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.
Bye everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.